gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be going over my second part of my Army Man collection. And excuse me guys, I gotta take my dog outside. Sorry for that. Anyway, so this is my Army Man Universe collection review, and I know that from you guys' point you can't see everything on here, but I will go through each container and bin and soldier. So first off, we're going to start off with this bucket. This bucket is full of Blue Army Men. And this is my Bulgarian army. The Bulgarians in my universe are French soldiers. So I basically put them as French because I like them so much. And in this bucket, I basically have old and new army men in here that I had for years and recently bought. So this is my Bulgarian army. Next is this purple bucket, and it's Easter themed, but I like collecting containers so I can put these army men in there. And these are my Tenario army. Tenarians represent as Russia, and they're called Tenarians because they're small, but don't underestimate their size because even though they are small, they do have a powerful army. So, yeah. Next is this smaller container. It's called, it has a mix between Grayton, which are the gray soldiers, which I can show you right here. Gray. May look pink, but it's gray. Then I have Red Hots, which are red soldiers. And Australia, which are lime green looking soldiers that I have. I put them together because they're a smaller army, and I can easily keep track of who is who, so. Yeah. Next is this drawer I have in the back, and in this drawer is all my Lectopian people, and they're of course Legos. So I have Lego civilians, Lego soldiers, and it's a really cool. I also have some of their weapons in here, and I have a container of weapons in the bathroom that I had to wash because I spilled soda by accident, and I need to get rid of the sugar. So that's what I did. And this is all and I also have a mix between Lego and Call of Duty. And I love the Call of Duty sets. You get a Dollar General because they're cool, and you get cool weapons that you can that the Lego men can use too. So yeah. Next, I have this big drawer, and this big drawer is a mix of also different colors. And I got the casual green and tan, so excuse me guys, it's a little bit heavy. This guy's a Greentopian, and these guys represent Canada. Also, I forgot to mention, Grayton represents as Germany, Red Hot represents as Iran, and the lime green soldiers represent Australia, or basically Australia. I call it Gristralia because of Australia. And this guy represents as Greentopia. Greentopia is Canada, like I said before, just sometimes I forget. This tan soldier represents as Tasmania, and it's not Tasmania. Good guess though, but these guys represent Japan in my universe. And I also have another blue army called Bluetopians. Now, how I keep track with these and my other army men is on the bottom, I marked them with an M because these were my brothers. But my brother doesn't like playing with army men, but he does like to play war sometimes, so I marked them all with an M so I can keep track between my army men and his army men. But I keep them and I use them a lot, so they're technically are mine, but they're mostly his. Now, before we get to the big bins, there's one container that I have to bring because I forgot. I'll be right back. Sorry for the long pauses. In this big black toolbox, I have a huge tan army called Tenario. And the Tenarians in my universe represent Turkey. So, let me give you an example of what they look like. Now, this guy is a little dark tan, but you can see. This is what one of them looks like. I have different variations. I love these guys because, in fact, what inspired me to collect Army Men is some of these Army Men YouTubers. And these YouTubers that I watch all the time on YouTube give me the inspiration to collect Army Men, and I can make my own future wars, which I do write down and document on a Google Slide platform, and I enjoy them. Next container is this one. Now, in this one, I have like a ton of soldiers of different kinds, so I'm going to have to make it really quick. But before we get to the container, I have also 2 individual bags for 2 smaller nations. So, in this bag are Italian soldiers, and these are basically modeled of World War II British and American, but they're small, and I call them the Italians because I represent them as Italy in my universe, and I like them because they're pretty cool. Even though I had a couple that were broken when they came in the package, but these are amazing and they're really fun. I have another bag of soldiers, and in this bag, these are like mini figurines that you usually use for models, and this group is called Bamaya. And Bamaya in my universe represents as the country of Romania. And these guys are and some of these guys are also game pieces, because there's a World War II board game called not 44, World War II 44, something like that. And you get them at the GameStop or a game exchange or whatever. These games come with small pieces, and I only have one of those pieces, so. But most of these guys are basically modeled soldiers from World War I, World War II, and I enjoy them. They're pretty cool. So, yeah. Now we're going to get to the individuals. So I'm going to grab a handful of soldiers by different region, and I'll explain what they're called, what they represent, and all that. This whole bin is the country of Tenario, and Tenario has a mix, actually the continent of Tenario, because this has several countries in it, and they each have a different like country representation. So just give me a few seconds to grab a few soldiers. So Poland, Austria, Ukraine, Budapest, Okay, so I have a handful of soldiers that I have in the bin that are not in bags. The first guy is a Egyptian. His original country was Cabrellan, and they represented Egypt. But the continent, their old territory, they didn't like. But when the new continent, Pacifica, was discovered by Pasaja, they decided to move from their old territory to Pacifica, and they are now living in Pacifica with their country. And like I said, these guys represent Egypt, and these guys I got from Dollar Tree, and they're really cool to have. Next is the Condustian, which are these smaller red soldiers, and they represent as Vietnam, because I never had a Vietnamese country. So, and I use these guys a lot. They're pretty cool too. These guys came in a bag where you have gray, red, and green. And I got these guys for Christmas last year, and they're pretty cool. I enjoy them a lot. Next is the Ukrainians, which are these guys. Now, Ukraine, of course, is represented as Ukraine, and this is not a mockery of the country Ukraine. And I do support them with their fight with Russia, so there's no problems with any of that. And also, I'm not trying to offend anyone's country with these army men, so just be advised, these are just toys with different country names that I made. These are medallions, and Medas is Bolivia. Even though Bolivia is a southern country, and Tenario is a mix between Asia and Europe. This guy is from South America, but I don't have a South American country, so I put him with Tenario, and I figured it'd be cool. So it's all make believe anyway. It's not historically or geographically accurate to the real world because it's all armament anyway. So yeah. This is a Kandaharian, and Kandaharians represent as Belgium in my universe. And these guys are a mixed country between tan and green, so they're easy to recognize. And they're the most coolest country ever because in my Army Men universe, and most YouTube, they always have like one army represented by one color. But there's one YouTuber, but Makamations, shout out to Makamations for this. He had a army that represents the good guys where he has tan and green soldiers working together. So, and while the grays and some darker green soldiers or lighter tan soldiers are the bad guys, and those guys are pretty cool. I like how he did that. So I was like, well, how could I can make an Iron Man nation just like that too? So that's how I did. Next is Phaesophili. Phaesophili represents as Hungary, and this is the second gray nation in my universe. And these guys are small compared to the Greytons, but they do have a stronger force if they are combined. So these guys are pretty cool. I have next Budapestians, and they represent as Pakistan. So yeah. And they're the thin red guys that I have too. These are also the same as the Red Hontians, but they have a different lighter skin than the Red Hontians because the Red Hontians are more darker than this Visage if you look in the light. So I basically know the difference between Budapest and Red Hot, if my memory doesn't screw me over. Anyway, this is a Visagian, aka British, and Visagians in my universe represents this as the United Kingdom or the British Empire, because right now in my universe they have an empire, and they're the second most powerful nation in the world. Actually, first powerful because they have over 1,066 men together combined with their allies, so they're pretty cool. And I have different molds for them. This is a Morlantian, and Morlantians represent China. And these guys I enjoy too in my universe. So, yeah. And these guys are neighbors with Condust, which inaccurately Indochina is China and India combined, and they're smaller countries combined within Indochina, so it's more kind of accurate. Next, I have Goland, and this is a Toy Story Army Men, but I use them as Gaulish soldiers. And I was lucky to find these kind of soldiers in the flea market, and I was like, I gotta have them, so I got them, and I love these guys. They're pretty cool. And since I was a Toy Story fan growing up, all of us were. Why not have something from Toy Story? I used to have a Woody, but I got rid of it, or I have lost it when I was a kid. So, yeah. This guy is a World War II model Japanese, but he is salmon colored. So he represents the Philippine Islands, which is basically the Philippines. And these guys I like as well because, and these guys are allies with Greenland because they made an agreement to share land and to be allies forever. So these guys are pretty cool. I also make their country flags with the Army Men flags I have. I take the old Army Men flag, I draw the actual country flag, then I glue it onto the flagpole, and then I have countries represented. And that's what's so cool. And sometimes there's some sets that come with actual his country flags too. So these guys are cool. The last and not least soldier of Tenario is Austria. And everyone knows what Austria represents. Austria. Now, Austria and Phasophyllid and Grayton are also allies together, and they're part of the empire, which Grayton is called the Graytonian Empire. The Grayton had an empire before, but they lost it because they invaded the country of Blutopia, and I will explain that story another time. This is no time for stories. But if you would like to hear stories of these type of characters or want to learn the history, you just give me a few more views or likes, and we can do that. So this is all you have seen for my countries and my universe, but I have one fun thing to show you guys, and that is my big soldiers. So as soon as I close this lid, you will look at those men. Now these soldiers I've also found in the market and other stuff. So these are the soldiers. I use them as statues. I don't play with these guys, but I just like the designs on them. They're pretty cool. Wish they had shooting positions, but they're pretty cool. So thank you guys for enjoying this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and be ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is Medieval Tuesday, where I'm going to be reviewing all my medieval stuff, and hope you guys will enjoy.